Welcome to Smart Edu channel. Today we are going to discuss about the Maths Grade 10 Chapter 1 Real Numbers. Before going to listen this video, my dear children, take a notebook, pen and pencil for practicing the problem along with me. So in daily basis, if you are studying maths, it will be an easy subject for you for scoring good marks in your grade 10 board exam. Okay. So in this channel, I will be discussing the easiest chapters first. That means the students will be getting that confidence, yes, I can do the maths. Yes, I can score good marks. Okay, so like that the students will be thinking, then easily they can practice the toughest portion also. So for that, you need to regularly visit this channel for getting the updation in my channel, okay, regarding your subject. So we will start here. So today we are going to discuss about the basics of real numbers and the exercise 1.1. First question. So first of all, what is real numbers? Real numbers are the numbers which can be expressed in number lines. Okay, the numbers which can be expressed in number line is known as real numbers. So we will be defining from the down part. You can see here one tree like structures are there, right? So we will be defining from the starting part, that is called natural numbers. Okay, so first of all, natural numbers. So this one is known to all. What is natural numbers? The numbers which are counted from 1 to n. Okay, the numbers which are counting from 1 to n is known as natural numbers. Okay, so you know that one, the numbers which are counting from 1 to n, that is 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. Okay, the numbers which can be expressed from 1 to n is known as natural numbers. Okay, so and it is represented as, the natural number is represented as the capital N. Okay, it is represented as the capital N. And you know that when in the left side you can see 0, right? So you will be writing here the values will be 0 only. So the whole numbers are the collection of 0 and natural numbers. Now you got how why I draw this whole numbers below the whole numbers. The two splits leaves was there. One is 0 and the other one is natural numbers, because the whole numbers is the mixture of 0 and the natural numbers. Natural numbers counting from 1 to 3 and 0 is normally a 0 value. Okay, so you got it here, the 0, okay, 0, 1, then 2, etc. up to n. Okay, the combination of 0 and natural numbers is known as whole number, and which is represented as capital W. Okay, capital W. So whole number is represented as capital W and natural number is represented as capital N. So negative integers means the integers which are of -1, -2, -3, etc. up to -n. Okay, etc. up to -n. That is called the negative integers. Okay, etc. up to -n. That is called the negative integers. Okay, this is comma. Okay, so the numbers which are represented as -1, -2, -3 and etc. up to -n is known as negative integers. Okay, so integers means the combination of negative integers and the whole numbers. Okay, so you know that one in integers how you are representing, how you are writing the integers in the number line. If it is a number line means you can write from 0, you can write from 0, then the right part will be 1, 2, etc. up to n, it will be there, right? So in the left part it will be -1, it will be -1, -2, etc. up to -n. Okay, so this way you are representing the integers. Okay, so you know that one. So this will be, this part, the left side part will be the negative integers and the right side part will the whole numbers. Okay, 0 to n is there, that's why it is represented as whole numbers. So integers can be represented as z. Okay, z. Okay, integers can be represented as z, capital Z. Okay, so the fraction numbers are the numbers which can be written as in the form of p by q. That means 1 by 2, 1 by 3 or 2 by 3, like that if you are writing, means which is able to write in the form of p by q, the number is known as fraction numbers. So the collection of fraction numbers and the integers together known as rational numbers. Okay, the collection of integers and the fraction numbers. So any number which can be written in the form of p by q. Okay, any number which can be written in the form of p by q. Okay, any numbers which can be written in the form of p by q, where p and q are co-primes. Okay, where p and q are, that means I will be writing here any number which can be written in the form of p by q. So any number which can be written in the form of p by q, where p equal to p and q are, where p and q are co-primes. Okay, co-primes, I will be explaining what is co-primes. P and q are co-primes. Q cannot be 0. Okay, the important part is q cannot be not equal to 0. Okay, q not equal to 0. Okay, or we can write q, we can write like this also, q not equal to 0. Okay, q not equal to 0. That means the q's value, that means if you are writing in p by q, the q value should not be 0. Okay, that is called, the q cannot be 0. Q is not equal to 0. Okay, so now you will be thinking, what is this coprime, right? The coprime are the numbers which have only 1 as a factor. Okay, the number which is having only 1 as a factor. Can you tell which all the numbers having 1 as a factor? Only 1 will be the factor. That means that number and 1 will be the factor. No other numbers will be getting as a factor for the corresponding numbers. That type of number is known as coprimes. I will be showing one example here. If you are taking 2, okay, so which all the numbers when you are multiplying, you will be getting 2. The only one option is there, 2 into 1, right? Is there any other possibility to get 2? No. There is no other possibility to get 2, right? So 2 into 1 equals 2. Okay, so here the factor is 2 and 1 only. Okay, so when you are considering 3 is also will be getting when 3 is multiplied into 1. Okay, 3 is multiplied into 1, then only you will be getting 3, right? So here also the factor is 3 and 1 only. Okay, but when you are going for 4, so these two are coprimes. Okay, these two are, there is no common factor than 1, right? There is no other common factor than 1. So when you are taking 4, you will be getting 3 into 1. So you can see here, for getting, you know that when for getting 4 means you can multiply 2 with 2 into 1 is 2 into 2 equal to 4. Okay, 2 into 2 equal to 4 and 4 into 1. Okay, that means here more than the common factor is not there in this 4, right? But in 2 and 3 you can see the common factor is only 1. Okay, no other common factors. Okay, so that type of number is not, that means the numbers which is having only a common factor 1 is known as coprime numbers. Okay, so this is the coprime numbers and the type of real numbers. You know that one here, the real numbers having the 2 branches, that is rational numbers and irrational numbers. Okay, so now irrational numbers. Irrational numbers, the numbers which can be represented as root 2, root 3, okay, root 2, root 3 and pi, the root 2, root 3, root 4, root 5, root 7. So the numbers which can be represented as in root values and the pi. Okay, and the pi is known as irrational numbers. Okay, so this is the real numbers system in this corresponding introduction of this chapter. So we will be moving to the next topic, that is Euclid's division lemma. Okay, what is Euclid's division lemma? Okay, that is the first topic in your textbook. So we will be discussing that one, Euclid's division lemma. What is this Euclid's division lemma? So Euclid's division lemma is nothing. If a number, okay, if a number, you can see the definition here, if a number a and b is a positive two numbers, okay, if it is a positive two integers, then they must be satisfied the particular condition, okay, then they must be satisfied the particular condition. So what is the condition given here? The condition given is here a equal to bq plus r, okay, a is equal to bq plus r. You can see here a equal to bq plus r, where 0 less than or equal to r less than or equal to b, okay. So 0 less than or equal to r less than or equal to b, okay. So here Euclid's division lemma is states that, okay, this is a theorem. So this theorem states that if a and b are two positive integers, if a and b are two positive integers, then they must satisfy the condition. What condition? A equal to, okay, what condition means a equal to bq plus r, okay, bq plus r, a equal to bq plus r, where r's value which be in between 0 and in between the 0 and b, okay, r value in between 0 and b. So now you will be thinking, what is this a, b, q, r and all things, right? So you know that when the normal division, okay, where how to divide the normal numbers, right? So that numbers, okay, you have to represent in this Euclid's division lemma, okay. The numbers, the normally division numbers can be represented in this Euclid's division lemma, okay. So now we will be checking this one, how to do this one, okay. So a and b are positive numbers. So here itself told a and b are two positive integers, okay. And q means the quotient, okay. When you are dividing a number, you will be getting a quotient, right? So q means quotient, okay. Q means the quotient. Q means the quotient, okay. Q means the quotient, okay. And r means remainder, okay. R means remainder, okay. So a and b are two positive numbers where q means quotient and r means remainder, okay. And b, r means remainder, okay. So these are the terms you need to understand from here. The remainder value will be always in between 0 and b, okay. The remainder value will always in between 0 and b. This is the theorem for Euclid's division lemma. So now we will be checking how to solve the problem, okay, with this Euclid's division lemma, how to solve it. So whatever numbers you are getting for division, you need to write in this form of a is equal to bq plus r, okay. In this format you need to convert, okay, until the remainder is getting 0, okay. Until the remainder is getting 0, you need to convert, okay. So why we are using this one means to find the HCF of a particular number, okay. To find the HCF, you know the HCF, right? Highest common factor, okay. Highest common factor, okay. So finding the highest common factor, you need to use this Euclid division lemma, okay. So how to do this one with the help of this Euclid's division lemma, we will be checking here. So the one rough program I am just going to do. After that we will be solving the textbook program, okay. So first of all, I'm going to write, that means you need to find the HCF of, okay, find the HCF of two numbers using Euclid's division lemma, okay. I'm just going to do find the HCF of two numbers, okay. Find the HCF of the numbers are 125 and 45, okay. 125 and 45 using Euclid's division lemma, okay. Euclid's division lemma. So this is the question, okay. You need to find out the HCF of 125 and 45 with the help of Euclid's division lemma. So how to find out this one, okay. I know by after seeing this question, so many students will be getting the confused how we are going to find out. So normal division, you know, right? Normal division, you know, okay. So what is the normal division? Which is the highest number in this one? 125, right? So 125 will be your dividend. Okay, 125 it will be your dividend. Okay, so I wrote 125. Then you need to write 45 as your divisor. Okay, 45 as your divisor. You know that one normal division what you are going to do, right? So one divisor will be there and one dividend will be there. Always the dividend number will be higher than the divisor, correct? So now you are going to do the normal division. That means for getting 125 along with 45, what number you need to multiply? Okay, so here you are going to write here. That means the inside number, okay, the inside number what you wrote should be written as here. What is your format is A is equal to BQ plus R. Okay, you need to write this number whether you are dividing or whatever it is. You need to convert that format into BQ plus R. Okay, you need to convert that format into BQ plus R. Okay, so inside what number you took, that is 125, the biggest number. So for getting 125 along with the other positive integer, okay, what is the next positive integer? Along with the 45, which all the numbers you need to multiply and add? Okay, that is your query. Okay, that is your question. So for getting 125, there is no number is there, okay, but nearby value you can take, right? So along with 45, if you are multiplying 2, okay, the quotient I am writing here, okay, if you are multiplying 2 along with 45, you will be getting 90. Only one difference you can see, you are writing 2 inside, okay, instead of the top. Normally you are writing quotient in the top side, right? Here you are not writing the top side, but you are writing in the side. You can draw like this and write, okay. So for 45 into 2, you will be getting 90. So what will be the remainder after minusing? What will be the remainder? The remainder will be 35. That means 5 from 5, 0 is going means 5 is coming. So here 12 from 9 is going means the answer will be 3, sir. That means 35. Okay, so you got the remainder 35. That means when you are multiplying 45 into 2, the quotient is 2, and what is the remainder you are getting? 35. Okay, you are getting the remainder as 35. Now you got this one. By first division, you got one value, that is 45 into 2 plus 35. When you are doing, you will get 125. Okay. So now second division is easy. That means what value you got as a remainder, that will be your next divisor. Okay, that will be your next divisor. Okay, and what is your first divisor will be coming as your second dividend. Okay, that's why I drawn like this. Okay, so 45 I wrote here. Now you need to check for getting 45 along with 35, what number should be multiplied. So there is no nearby number, so you can write here as 35 into 1, you are getting 35. Okay, 35 into 1, you are getting 35. So what will be the remainder here? 10. Okay, what will be the remainder here? 10. Okay, so for getting, so that means the B value will be becoming the A value now. So 45 into 45 is equal to 35 into 1, right? When you are for getting 45, you need to multiply 35 along with 1 and you need to add 10. Then you will be getting 45. Okay, then you will be getting 45. Okay, so now you will be thinking another step. There is no, because until you are getting 0 remainder, you need to do the same procedure. So now your 10 will be your next divisor and your 35 will be your, that means this number will be becoming your next dividend. Okay, so 35 you will be writing here inside. Okay, 35 and 10 into 3. Okay, 10 into 3, what you will be getting? 30. Okay, so 30 you got 30, you will be getting 30 and the remainder will be 5. Okay, remainder will be 5. Okay, so for getting 35, what you have to do is you need to multiply 10 into 3. Okay, 10 into 3 plus 5 you have to do for getting 35. Okay, then finally what you have to do is you need to take 5 as your next dividend and you will be writing 10 here. So now you clear. That means 5 into 2 is 10. Okay, that means the next quotient will be 2. Okay, next quotient will be 2. So 5 into 2 will be 10 and the remainder you got is 0. Okay, so now you are going to write for 10. Okay, that means you are going to write for 10. That means 5 into 2 plus 0, you are getting 10, right? So finally which value you got as B, that is your HCF. Okay, finally which value you got, that means when your R is becomes 0, when R becomes 0, until that you need to do. Okay, until that value you need to do. Okay, so when R is become 0, that time what B value you are getting, that will be your HCF. Okay, so HCF of this 125 and 125 and 45. Okay, 125 and 45 is 5. Okay, 125 and 45 will be 5. Okay, 45 is equal to 5. So this is Euclid's division lemma algorithm. Okay, hope you all understood this one. So next video I will be doing the problems regarding this Euclid's division lemma. Thank you. If you like this video, please subscribe, share, like, comment. Or if any changes you need you can tell me in comment box. I will be giving you practice problem and all things from the next video. So this is the basic of these real numbers. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you.